Over 90% of the engine misfires I've diagnosed over the years come down to one hidden culprit: dirty fuel injectors. People think misfires mean spark plugs, ignition coils, or bad gas, but 9 times out of 10, it's those tiny injectors that aren't doing their job. And here's the crazy part. You might not even know it's happening until your car starts guzzling 30% more fuel before you even hit 50,000 miles. Today, I'm going to walk you through 9 ways to clean fuel injectors without removing them. From simple fixes you can do at home to pro-level methods used in real shops. And stick around until the end, because I'll reveal one garage secret I rarely share. A technique that can double your injector lifespan and restore lost horsepower you didn't even know you'd lost. Let's count down from number 9, starting with the easiest trick most people completely mess up. Sounds simple, right? Pour a bottle of cleaner into the tank, and your injectors sparkle like new. But here's the truth. Most people waste their money doing it wrong. They grab the cheapest bottle off the gas station shelf, dump it into a full tank, and expect miracles. It doesn't work like that. The secret ingredient you're looking for is polyetheramine, or PEA. That's the chemical that actually breaks down carbon and varnish inside your injectors. Without PEA, you're basically just adding fancy-smelling gasoline. Brands like Chevron Techron, Gumout Regain, and Redline SI1 are proven winners because they're loaded with real cleaning agents. But the key isn't just what you buy, it's how you use it. If the bottle says treats up to 12 gallons, don't dump it into a full 18-gallon tank. You'll water it down, and it won't clean anything. Run your tank down to about a quarter, add the cleaner, then fill up with fresh fuel. That way, the cleaner runs concentrated through the injectors. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't scrub once a year and expect perfect results. You do it regularly. The same goes here. Use it every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, roughly with each oil change. You're not erasing years of gunk. You're preventing buildup before it starts. And for heaven's sake, use a funnel. I've seen more cleaner spilled down car paint than I can count. And some of these chemicals will stain if they drip. This is the entry-level way to keep injectors clean. Cheap, easy, and effective, if you do it right. But what if your injectors aren't just dirty? What if they're sticky? That's where the next method digs in. Your injectors might not be clogged with hard carbon. Instead, they could be coated with sticky varnish, that gummy layer that forms when fuel sits for too long. You see it all the time in cars that only drive on Sundays or lawnmowers left over winter. That's where detergent-based additives come in. Think of them like dish soap for your fuel system. They dissolve that glue-like residue and help restore smooth fuel flow. I've used them dozens of times on cars that sat for months. Old Buicks, classic pickups, even boats. Once the sticky junk breaks down, the injectors start spraying evenly again. But here's what most people miss. You can't just run one tank and expect miracles. These detergents work slowly. I usually tell customers to run 2 or 3 consecutive tanks with detergent additives so that they can fully break down and carry out the buildup. For extra punch, combine detergent additives with a PEA-based cleaner from step 9. The PEA breaks up the carbon, and the detergent washes away the varnish, like a 1-2 knockout for dirty injectors. One warning though, don't go chemical crazy. Too many additives can attack rubber seals or mess with oxygen sensors. Stick to trusted brands, follow directions, and don't double dose. Detergent additives are great for sticky injectors, but what if the problem isn't the injector at all? What if it's the fuel itself slowly turning against you? Let's talk ethanol. Ethanol is both a hero and a villain. On one hand, it acts as a mild cleaner. On the other hand, it's a magnet for moisture. And moisture is death for your fuel system. Modern gas already contains up to 10% ethanol. That helps reduce emissions, sure, but ethanol also absorbs water from the air. When that water collects in your tank, it can separate from the fuel, corrode your injectors, and cause rough running. That's where ethanol treatment additives save the day. They stabilize fuel, fight corrosion, and keep injectors from rusting or gumming up. They're essential for vehicles that sit for long stretches. Think boats, motorcycles, or classic cars that only see daylight twice a year. Without treatment, injectors in those vehicles clog solidly after a winter in storage. With it, they fire up like you just parked them yesterday. The trick is consistency. Don't just add it once and forget about it. If you're driving regularly, use it every few tanks. And if you're storing a car, add it before parking. Then let the engine run for a few minutes so treated fuel reaches every injector and fuel line. Good ethanol treatments also protect the fuel pump and prevent hard starts. I've torn apart pumps eaten alive by corrosion from untreated fuel. Destruction. But chemicals can only do so much. Sometimes your engine just needs to stretch its legs. And that brings us to one of my favorite old-school methods, the Italian tune-up. Believe it or not, one of the most effective injector cleaners doesn't come from a bottle. It comes from your right foot. Modern cars spend most of their lives crawling through city traffic, running short errands, or idling in the driveway. The engine never gets hot enough to burn away deposits. Carbon starts building up on injectors, valves, and even the catalytic converter. Enter the Italian tune-up. The idea is simple. Take the car out for a solid 20 to 30-minute highway drive. Hold it in a lower gear and let the RPMs climb higher than usual. That heat, sustained and controlled, burns away carbon deposits naturally. I've personally seen engines that stumbled and misfired smooth right out halfway through the drive. Now, this isn't permission to redline your car or drive like a maniac. You're not racing, you're cleaning. Keep the revs moderately high and steady. If your engine is healthy and your fluids are fresh, this method is free, effective, and completely natural. But if you'd rather not push your car on the highway, and you're the kind of person who likes hands-on solutions, the next method is for you. We're grabbing a can and getting our hands dirty. This is where we stop pouring stuff into the tank and actually work on the engine. No disassembly required. Over time, carbon builds up on the throttle plate, intake valves, and even the manifold. That sticky black gunk chokes airflow, messes with idle, and kills throttle response. Grab a throttle body or intake cleaner spray, pop off your air intake hose, start the engine, and keep the revs steady around 1,500 to 2,000 RPM. Spray short bursts directly into the throttle body. The engine will stumble for a second, then smooth out as it burns cleaner. Do it in intervals. Spray a bit, let it recover, repeat. Don't overdo it. You're cleaning, not drowning the engine. And always do this in a well-ventilated area because the fumes are no joke. What most people don't realize is that some of that cleaner gets drawn through the intake into the injectors, helping dissolve light carbon along the way. Afterward, you'll notice a smoother idle and better throttle response. This is one of those satisfying fixes where you feel the improvement right away. But sprays only go so far. If you want true professional-grade results, without touching a wrench, the next step takes things up a level. Now we're crossing into serious territory, the kind of cleaning shops charge hundreds for, but you can actually do yourself with the right tools. A fuel system cleaner kit connects directly to your fuel rail and runs the engine on pure concentrated cleaner, bypassing the gas tank entirely. This forces powerful solvent straight through the injectors, scrubbing them clean from the inside out. Here's how it works. First, relieve fuel pressure by pulling the fuel pump fuse and cranking the engine until it stalls. Then, connect the cleaner kit's hose to your fuel rail service port. Make sure it's sealed tight. Fill the canister with the cleaner, pressurize it using shop air, and start the engine. It'll run entirely on the chemical until the canister's empty, usually 15 to 20 minutes. When you reconnect the system and restart the car on normal gas, you'll feel it. Smoother idle, sharper throttle, cleaner acceleration. But fair warning, this method isn't for everyone. You're dealing with pressurized fuel lines, and one slip could cause a mess or even a fire. If you're not confident, skip to the next step. Same results, but handled by professionals. Sometimes the smartest move is to let the pros handle it. A professional on-car injector cleaning service uses heavy-duty machines and chemicals that you can't buy at a parts store. The shop hooks your car up to a professional cleaning rig that bypasses the fuel tank and runs the engine solely on their cleaning fluid for about half an hour. It's like dialysis for your fuel system, flushing out every bit of carbon, varnish, and sludge. I've run hundreds of these services in the shop. The results are immediate. Customers pick up their car, and within the first mile, they can tell it's smoother, faster, and quieter. Idle roughness? Gone. Throttle hesitation? Vanished. The service isn't cheap, typically $100 to $200. But compare that to replacing injectors, which can cost $800 or more, and it's a bargain. One important caveat: if your injectors are completely dead or electrically fried, no chemical in the world can fix them. Cleaning only works if they're dirty, not broken, but when they're just gummed up or spraying unevenly. This service can make them feel brand new again. Still, what if you could prevent them from ever reaching that point? That brings us to number 2, a trick so simple it surprises even veteran drivers. Here's something most people ignore. The cheapest gas at the pump isn't actually saving you money. It's quietly destroying your injectors over time. Government fuel standards only require a minimum level of detergents. Top-tier gas, sold by brands like Chevron, Shell, Mobil, and even Costco, contains additional cleaning agents proven to keep injectors and intake valves spotless. ADOIA actually tested this and found top-tier gas left engines 19 times cleaner than bargain fuel. I've seen it with my own eyes. Cars running cheap off-brand gas for years end up with injectors spraying unevenly and valves caked in soot by 80,000 miles. Cars fed top-tier fuel, nearly spotless even at 150,000 miles. The best part, you don't have to buy premium. The regular grade at top-tier stations already includes the detergent package, unless your car specifically requires high octane. Save your cash and just stick with regular top-tier. And here's a pro move. If you ever have to fill up at a no-name station while on a road trip, follow up the next tank with a bottle of PEA-based cleaner to offset the damage. It's like giving your injectors a deep rinse after a bad meal. Fuel quality matters more than most people realize. Cheap gas leaves invisible residue that slowly builds up, straining your injectors and sensors. Top-tier fuel is like feeding your car clean nutrition every single day. But if you want the ultimate cleaning method, the one used by high-end dealerships and performance shops, then number 1 is where the real magic happens. So there you have it. 9 ways to clean your fuel injectors without ever removing them. From a $10 bottle in your tank to a $200 carbon clearing service, every method plays a role depending on your budget and how dirty your system is. But here's the real secret that most people overlook. Consistency. It's not about waiting until you feel a problem. It's about preventing one before it happens. If you treat your fuel system regularly, use quality gas, and give your engine a good highway run now and then, your injectors can easily last well past 150,000 miles, sometimes even 200,000. And now that you know how to keep them clean, the next step is knowing when they're starting to fail, because early detection saves engines.